He came home in March of 1960. It felt like the whole world stopped to watch. He had been gone for 2 years, serving in the U.S. Army. 2 years is a long time in pop music. It's an eternity. Careers are born and die in that much time. Tastes change. Kids grow up, the world moves on, but the world had not moved on from him. It had waited. Impatiently, but it had waited. Before he left, he was a force of nature, a supernova. He wasn't just a singer, he was a cultural event. He was the shaking hips, the sneering lip, the slicked back hair. He was the sound of rebellion coming out of a transistor radio. Parents hated him. The establishment feared him. And the kids, they understood him completely. They screamed for him. They fainted for him. They chased his car down the street. They bought every record, every piece of merchandise. They lived and breathed his music. This relationship with his fans was intense. It was more than just admiration. It was a kind of possession. They felt they owned a piece of him, and in a way, they did. He was their creation as much as he was his own. His fame was built on their hysteria. He fed on it, and it fed on him. It was a powerful, strange, and sometimes frightening symbiosis. He was a 20-something kid from Tupelo, and he had the absolute devotion of millions of people. Think about what that does to a person. Then, he was drafted. At the peak of his fame, he was sent away. It was a brilliant move by his manager, Colonel Tom Parker. The colonel was a master strategist. He knew the controversy around the singer was getting too hot. The hip swiveling was seen as obscene. The rock and roll was called the devil's music. By sending his boy into the army, the colonel performed a kind of magic trick. He would transform the rebel into a patriot, the delinquent into a good American son. And it worked. While he was gone, serving his country in Germany, his image softened. He became less of a threat and more of an institution. During those 2 years, he also changed as a person. He wasn't just playing a role, he actually had to be a soldier. He followed orders. He lived a structured life. He was away from the chaos and the screaming. And most tragically, his mother Gladys died while he was on leave. It broke him. It was a wound that never really healed. He came back to America a different man. He was older, more serious. He had seen a different side of life. He was still the king, but the crown felt heavier now. So when he came home, the big question was, what now? What would he sound like? Would he still be the rocker who scared everyone's parents? Or would he be the new, mature, respectable version of himself? The entire music industry held its breath. His fans were desperate for new music. They had waited 2 years. RCA, his record label, needed a hit. The pressure on him was immense. He went into the studio in Nashville just weeks after his return. The session was a big deal. He brought in his old bandmates Scotty Moore and DJ Fontana, the guys who had been with him from the beginning. But he also brought in new musicians, the Nashville A-Team. The sound was already changing. It was cleaner, more polished, and the first song he recorded, the one that would be his comeback single, was a curious choice. It was an upbeat, catchy little number. It had a bouncy rhythm and a simple, repetitive chorus. On the surface, it sounded like a love song, a declaration of devotion. But if you listened a little closer to the words, a different story started to emerge. The lyrics were all about being attached to someone. Literally attached, like glue. The singer tells his girl that he's going to stick to her, that she won't be able to get rid of him. He's going to be a hugging fool and a kissing fool. He's going to be on her like a fly on a piece of pie. It's relentless. Now, you could hear this as a sweet, if slightly obsessive, love song. Just a guy telling his girl how much he likes her. But given who was singing it, and when he was singing it, you could also hear it another way. Who was more attached to him than anyone else on the planet, his fans. Who followed him everywhere. Who screamed his name. Who felt an almost suffocating sense of ownership over him and his fans. Suddenly, the song doesn't sound like it's for a girl. It sounds like it's about his audience. It sounds like he's singing directly to them. And the message is a little strange. Is he thanking them for their loyalty, or is he complaining about it? Is it a term of endearment, or is it gentle mockery? Consider the metaphor. Gonna stick like glue. Glue is sticky. It's messy. It can be hard to get off. It's not a romantic image. It's a practical, slightly annoying one. As a fly on a piece of pie is a pest. You shoo it away. You don't welcome it. These are not the words of a man singing a passionate ballad. These are the words of a man describing a situation he can't escape. He's turning the tables. For years, the fans have been clinging to him. Now he's singing a song where he is the one who is clinging. It's a playful reversal. He's holding up a mirror to their own behavior. He's saying, "You think you're stuck on me? No, I'm the one who's stuck on you." It's a clever bit of psychological jujitsu. And there's a definite tone of humor in his voice. A little bit of a wink. He's not being cruel, he's not angry, it's more like a sigh of amused resignation. He knows his life is not his own. He knows he belongs to these millions of people. He knows they will be there, waiting for him, clinging to him, no matter what he does. And with this song, he's acknowledging it. He's saying, okay, you win, I'm yours. But there's another layer to this. It's not just about his personal feelings. It's also about business. Remember, the Colonel. The Colonel knew that the old rebellious Elvis couldn't last forever. The teen idol market was fickle. To have a long career, he needed to appeal to a wider audience. He needed to be family-friendly. He needed to be the kind of star that parents could like to. This song was the perfect transition. It was pop, not rock and roll. It was safe. The beat was infectious, but not dangerous. The lyrics were cute, not sexual. It was the sound of the new Elvis, the polished, professional, mainstream entertainer. It was the first step away from the raw energy of the 1950s and toward the slick productions of the 1960s. The song was a message to the industry and to the wider public as much as it was to the fans. It said, "I'm back, but I'm different now. I'm safer. I'm more palatable. You don't have to be scared of me anymore." It was a declaration of a new era, and it was a massive, massive hit. It went straight to #1 on the chart. It proved that he hadn't lost his magic. In fact, his appeal was now broader than ever before. So, was he making fun of his fans? Yes and no. It's not that simple. He wasn't mocking them in a mean-spirited way. It was more like an inside joke, a shared understanding. He was acknowledging the strange, intense nature of their relationship. He was a prisoner of their love, but he was a willing one. He knew he couldn't survive without them. Think of it from his perspective. He's been in the army for 2 years. He's had a taste of a normal life, or as normal as it could be for him. He's coming back to the whirlwind. The screaming, the crying, the constant attention. It must have been overwhelming. Part of him probably dreaded it. Part of him probably craved it. The song captures that ambivalence perfectly. It's a love song and a complaint all rolled into one. It's a celebration of his fans' devotion and a commentary on its smothering nature. The song is also a display of his own power. He knows he has them in the palm of his hand. He can sing a song that gently teases them, that calls them clingy, and they will not only accept it, they will love it. They will buy the record by the millions. They will make it a #1 hit. It shows the incredible trust and connection he had with his audience. He could be playful with them, even a little bit critical, and they would understand. They knew he was theirs and they were his. This song set the template for his next decade. He would go to Hollywood, he would make dozens of movies. The soundtracks for these movies would be filled with songs just like this one. Catchy, light, professional pop tunes. The raw, dangerous rocker from the 50s would appear only in flashes. For the most part, he would be the charming, smiling, all-American movie star. Some of his original fans felt betrayed by this change. They missed the wild man. They missed the rock and roll. They felt he had sold out. And in a way, he had. He had traded artistic danger for commercial security. He had traded rebellion for respectability. It was a deal brokered by the Colonel, and it made him wealthier and more famous than he had ever been. But it also cost him something. It cost him a piece of his artistic soul. You can hear the beginning of that trade in this first comeback single. You can hear the compromise. It's the sound of a rebel putting on a tuxedo. It's the sound of a wild animal being tamed. It's still him. That voice is unmistakable. But the fire is banked. The energy is contained. So, why did he record it? He recorded it because he had to. It was the perfect song for that exact moment in his life and career. It reestablished his dominance. It bridged the gap between the old Elvis and the new Elvis. It reassured his fans that he was still theirs, while also gently setting a new boundary. It was a work of commercial genius, but it was also a moment of human honesty. In the middle of all the hype and the pressure of his return, he released a song that was, at its core, about how strange and overwhelming it was to be him. To be loved by so many people, so intensely. To be an object of mass obsession. He couldn't say it in an interview, he couldn't write an essay about it, but he could sing about it. He could rap the truth in a catchy melody and a clever lyric. He could hide his real feelings in plain sight. It's a song about being trapped, but it sounds joyful. It's a song about being smothered, but it sounds like a love affair. That contradiction is what makes it so fascinating. It's the sound of a man who is both the king of the world and a prisoner in his own castle. He's waving to the adoring crowds from the battlements, and he's singing a song that says, "I love you all, but my gosh, you're a lot." And the fans. They heard what they wanted to hear. They heard a love song. They heard their hero telling them that their bond was unbreakable. And they were right. But they were also missing the other side of the story. The side that whispered about the cost of that bond, the side that hinted at the weariness behind the smile. Decades later, the song is still famous. It's often played on oldies radio. It sounds like a simple, happy-go-lucky pop hit from another era. But knowing the context, knowing the story behind it, it becomes something much more. It becomes a historical document, a psychological portrait, a confession set to a backbeat. So it's the sound of the most famous man in the world trying to make sense of his own fame. And maybe, just maybe, making a little bit of fun of the very people who put him on that lonely throne. That song was Stuck on You